Today, episode 186, we're having a good time. We're having a chat, coffee. Welcome to another. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Monday live stream. Do I have sound in here? I'm just gonna put myself a little bit of background music. There we go. Hey, Rob. It's the winter season. We're allowed to drink at any hour of the day, right? No? Is it how it works? Welcome, everybody, to another show, another Monday. Today, I'm bringing back an old mug. It's been a while since I've bring up this one. First, let me say hi to Edwin. What's up, Robert? Always good to have you around, man. Always a pleasure. Let me know. Big subject for me today. I don't know what's going to be the big subject for you, but for me, I'm expecting a Wing Compact to be shipped. I have no idea how things are gonna go for the people that order from Alto Music, but apparently the expected shipping date for the new compact would be today. Mixing Lane, what's up? Good to have you, man. Is it your first time, Mixing Lane? I know I see you a lot on Facebook, but I don't remember if you come to the stream often. You're not a regular here. You should be. Poncho, always a pleasure to see you, man. One of the long-time viewer. Can you believe that this is episode 186? I recently looked at the stream that I did in the past, and I don't know how I didn't realize that, but we crossed the 150 mark a long time ago. And now it's episode 186. It's been hours and hours and hours and hours of live stream talking about a lot of stuff. You know, back in the day, it was not Monday live stream. It used to be, I think it was called Wing live stream every Monday. But we kept going. We kept pushing. Actually, it's probably more than 180 episodes because I don't count the lost ones. No. Hi, Patrick. Bonjour, Patrick. Bonjour, la francophonie. Bonjour, la France. Bonjour, les Québécois qui nous écoutent. Not counting the one that I lost, because I don't remember how many I had. So, if somebody ever from YouTube, apparently, because okay, let me backtrack. Let me do a phrase that makes sense. I was watching a video the other day from Linus Tech Tip where he got his channel reset. And apparently, people from YouTube didn't lost his video, even the one that he deleted, which is a little surprising, to be honest, if you think about it, that even if you delete a video, Google or YouTube still has it. But if anyone from YouTube ever watched this stream or one of my videos and can help me bring back the old one that I've lost, I would happily re-upload them for you guys, because I had some cool one back then. Not all about the Wing, especially the one that pisses me off the most that I've lost are the one that I did about guitar amp that I don't have anymore. I don't know if you guys remember that one for the old timer here. I used to have a PV Bravo amp. It was a full tube. You know, it looks like one of those crappy ones from PV, but it was a full tube amp. And the only difference between the Bandit 112 was the name. It was the Bravo 112, and the Bravo 112 was a full tube amp. Is it 25? What? 2 EL85. Patrick, no, it's normal, and by law, most providers keep backup for a very, very long time. Yes, they do. But I just don't know how I could access them. I'm not, When you think about it, Linus Tech Tip has 16 million subscriber. They have a YouTube rep probably that they can call 24/7, or a few guys that they can call 24/7 if there's anything wrong with the channel. And I'm so far from that. Actually, I don't even have 1600. 16 has whatever, you get what I mean. I'm getting close. Probably gonna happen next month or by the end of the year to 7,000 subscriber. So let me again say thank you so much to you guys. I cannot believe that we're still going strong with that. I'm fully aware, you know, that this is not a big number for YouTube, but for the kind of content that we're doing here for this community, I think it shows that we exist, we are here. And I understand that talking about live sound for people that probably most people don't even know what we're doing as a job, and talking about, you know, turning knobs on console, it's not something interesting for a lot of people. So the fact that we are 7,000 or almost 7,000 makes me really happy. Thank you guys. Hanger77, good to see you, man. Good to have you back on the channel. So let me ask again, now that we're a few more people in, are you guys, or any of you guys, order from Alto Music and know if the shipping date is happening? I didn't check my email before the stream. Maybe I should. Maybe. I have 2 compact coming from them. It was not the smartest business move ever, but I need them. I need them. Patrick, heck, even people doing sounds as a job don't know what they're doing. Yes, I must agree. Yes. Funny enough, I'm not going to name any name, and I don't want to sound bad, but your friend got his Alto last Friday. Okay, so maybe if you see me running, it's got somebody knocking at the door, and I'm expecting FedEx to deliver those. So if usually they go fast, and usually they are around this time, so maybe I will pause the stream, I will run, and I'll come back with a huge box with a compact in it, and we'll do an unboxing unplanned. Patrick, you have an ad already? You talk about, there we go, you talk about YouTube having to host my file for a long time. They have to pay for it. They have to pay for that storage. Actually, I saw the numbers at some point, and I don't remember exactly, but this is something stupidly astronomical big amount of hard drive to save all the YouTube file, because apparently there is more video being uploaded to YouTube that you could watch in real time. Like, if people, you cannot watch, if everybody on YouTube was watching a video, there's more video that are being uploaded. Probably a lot of garbage, probably a lot of like stuff that is not, like stuff that is whatever. I don't want to shame anybody, but probably stuff that is not really relevant. And personal video, a lot of personal video on YouTube, but apparently you cannot watch that. No complaint, just to keep the help you count. Yes, thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that. The new system that they release for the ads is, I see a difference in number in view, in paid view. Because of that, nowadays I make about, to be totally transparent, I make about $1 per stream when it's a good stream, when a lot of people show up. So before that, it used to be maybe half of that. So maybe 75 to 50 cents per stream. Now I can make a full Canadian dollar, not even a US dollar, a full Canadian dollar. So it's not much, but it's slowly adding up, and this is how I perceive YouTube. You know, I finally crossed the line recently where in my lifetime amount that I got from YouTube, I will now be able to pay for a compact. In my lifetime, in the years of doing this, I'm finally going to be able to pay for the compact. This is how things working here. Anyway, good news. Stoneman shipped the rack real fast. Don't know about Alto. Okay, we'll see. If anybody from in the chat or the usual here got any news from Alto, let me know. If not, it's gonna be fine. All right. Yes, Rob, you know I'm all about the money. I'm doing this only for the money and for the views. I don't care about the cause of having people doing great live show. I'm only here for the money. Sorry, I cannot keep a straight face in saying that. How was your weekend, guys? Because let me sidetrack to where I was before. Let me drop that coffee mug. A beautiful coffee mug that I love. I love that blue color. You guys know that I'm a sucker for blue. Probably looks black. Yeah, but it's blue. It's blue. All right. So this weekend, funny adventure that happened to me is I was in the venue and I was in a slight, I would say a decent sized one. It was, I believe, close to 1,000 seats with, you know, a floor, 2 balcony, regular room. And I was having a problem with my front feel. Nothing out of the ordinary in the sense of it's front feel. It's there. It's set up by the venue. I don't have I don't have much control over that. It's all happening in the process. You know, I send out a left, right, and the local team take care of, you know, what I give to them, my mix, and they just spread it and all the delay under the balcony and the usual business. Usually when you show up in a room, you hand out a left, right, or a left, right plus subs to the crew, and they go, okay, we take care of everything else. Or the local audio guy, because there's always a local engineer, an A2. So usually they are allowed, they know what they're doing with the venue, and they can, you know, move things a little bit around if you need to. So let's say, oh, my front feel are too loud, or my front feel are not loud enough because my band is always on. It's all in ears. There's no sound coming from the stage other than the drum. So the first few will only hear the drum and a faint vocal coming from the side, from the front feel because they're not loud enough. But anyway, talking about people that don't know their stuff, I must point out that my local engineer, as such a nice guy he was, didn't know how to play around with the process for that venue, because I had a problem where whatever I was sending was double sent to the front field, and something somewhere had a delay or different crossover point or different, I don't know, phase. It was coming out sounding like garbage coming out of my front feel. I asked the guy, hey man, I think there's something wrong with the front feel. Would you mind, you know, looking at whatever's going on here? And the answer was like, sorry, I don't know. I don't know what I don't have any control over that. Or actually, the first answer was, I don't know. Then it quickly swapped to I don't have any control over that. So it was a matter of just go like, yeah, well, I don't know, but I don't know is not a good answer. Or, well, it's locked. I don't have any control over that. That's a better answer in the sense of you cannot do something quick. But yeah, this is how my weekend went, and I had to ask if they could turn off the amp or something, and the answer was no. So I had to live with bad sounding front feel for the first row. Nothing I can do about it. It was out of my control. But all that to say that yes, even nowadays, even in 2024, sometimes you get a local audio guy that don't know or don't care. I don't know which one it is. I don't know if my local guy just didn't care or he didn't know, but it's reality. So yeah, even sound guys, the local one, don't know what they're doing. All right, so Mr. Bailey Sweetwater told me by the end of the month, this month, for a Wing Compact. Thank you very much for that information. I hope Tolman is going to ship those for you guys. Sweetwater, sorry. I'm reading Mixing Link comment about Tolman. Dan, hello again. Good to see you, man. I like when you guys come back to have fun on this adventure that is doing these Monday live stream for you guys, where we can talk about anything that has to do with live sound. By the way, I didn't introduce myself. Hey, my name is Guillaume. I'm a live sound engineer, and I do this every Monday. And we'll see what's going on with that. But the plan for me right now is I don't know how long I can push these live stream for the future. I plan, and I will see what's going on with that. I plan to do the same formula that we're doing now until episode 200. After that, I don't know. It's still a while. I mean, we're episode 186, so that's going to be still 14 weeks, if I know how to count. So in 14 weeks from now, we'll see what's going on. I'm going to have vacation. I'm going to have time to set my mind about what I want to do with this YouTube channel. And I'm going to have to set my mind about what I want to do with my, I may move. Maybe I'm going to change the studio. Maybe I'm going to sell my house. I actually have an appointment tomorrow for that. So we'll see what's going on. So, yeah, we'll keep the formula going until episode 200. And I just want to, I just want to keep it interesting. And for now, I'm only doing casual talk like we're doing right now. And I just don't have any, I feel like I don't have much to talk about. And I don't want to do empty streams. I don't want to do content that is empty. I want everybody here to have fun. I want to keep it interesting. And for me producing this or this show out of nowhere, I'm grabbing that out of thin air. Man, I don't know. Maybe I want to try to revisit the formula. If you guys have any idea, if you have any suggestion for the show, should I do product review? What do you guys want to see here? What do you think will be interesting for you to watch? What is it, a subject that is not covered in this field, in the live industry, in the gear that we're using? What is some stuff that you don't understand that you want to know more about? I think I've been doing live sound for almost 20 years. I've come across a couple of things. I started back in the analog days, and now we are at the newly released digital console. So let me know what you guys want to see. Rob, in the venue I teched, I was not allowed to touch the system processor. Only the integrator could touch it. Yes, I know, sometimes it's working this way, but in this scenario, it was either a case of the guy really didn't know how to do it, because there was definitely something wrong. It was not made to be this way. I was told a story that one of the amp blew up, so they merged some stuff, and it was probably not done right, because the front fill usually are stereo, and now they were setting up as mono. Maybe they had twice the signal. This is why they, I was having a delay, or I was having a phasing issue for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it was a bad speak-on that they used for something somewhere that was phase reverse, or bad signal coming from anywhere. Anyway, so we'll see. Here's one from Cody. Hey, Mr. Williamson. I'm used to running front of house, and we recently set up and waiting for monitor. Hold on, I don't know how to read anymore. I'm used to running front of house, and we recently set up a waiting for monitor at my church. Okay. Any tips and tricks on how to create a consistent in your mix for singer. Hold on, I just want to make sure, Cody, that you're talking about now. You got a monitor console, or you? Okay, not awaiting a wing for monitor. Okay, gotcha. Makes sense now. Okay, so you basically have a monitor console. How to create a consistent mix for a singer. Okay, now we have the Behringer Wavefree monitor. All right. To create something that is consistent, you'll need to have players and people that are consistent. The gear doesn't change overnight. When you wake up the next day and you recall a preset, the preset is the same, it doesn't change. We, human, player, musician, singer, change overnight. I'm waking up the next day, having too much coffee that day, having too many beer the night over. Most of us here, because I don't want to say everybody, but most of us here already wake up from a hangover and felt a little different inside our body, or perceive, our perception of the world was a little different. And yeah, this is how humans are complex. So I would say, take time to build something solid. You want to build a good foundation. You want to build a good structure for your monitor console. Make sure that you take time to set your gain correctly. Make sure that you have a solid minus 18 dB LUFS at VU. And if one day one singer is not, exactly, Patrick, typical for singer. If one day a singer is not in shape and has a little less output, don't destroy his mix. Just give it a little more gain. Or if somebody they're really in shape, they're like having a lot of power, maybe drop it down 3 dB to even out. And that way, when you can predict what your input's gonna be from a microphone, it's way easier for you to understand how to dispatch that to everybody else at monitor. So when I'm doing in-ear monitor or floor monitor, I always try to get, decent signal to work with, solid signal, solid, good sounding signal. So you always want to have, your channel strip sounding good. And what I mean about that is, whatever you're listening into in-ear, headphone, floor monitor, you want that vocal to sound good. Sometimes you have to change the mic to get good results. Sometimes you have to and also another thing, don't overprocess monitor. Try to keep it as uncompressed as possible. Try to keep it as ungated as possible for your drums. That way you're going to get good result. You want to, basically when you're doing monitor, you want to correct the fault of the gear, and you want the performer to feel as raw of a signal as needed, with EQ and maybe sometimes a little bit of compression. But you want the person that is listening to that stuff back in their ear and floor monitor to have control over what they're doing. You want to enable musician to have control, and you want to reflect what they're performing into what they can hear. So when you think about that whole process, you want to be as dry as possible. You may be having a little bit of reverb just for fun, but you want to give the musician a representation of what they perform, how is it reproduced in the system, and you want to keep it as clean and as dry as possible. So don't over EQ, don't over compress, don't over process anything, especially when doing monitor, because if you give a false representation to the performer, singer, drummer, bass player, and it doesn't represent that at front of house, you're throwing them off. And that's not good, because they cannot perform really well if they don't hear or they don't have a good reference to take decision on from the monitor. So this is really what the purpose of a monitor console is, or the approach that you should have when doing monitor is you want the performer to have a good representation of what their output is, and you want them to be able to hear that the best they could so they can perform, they can adjust from one to another really well. And a band that has really good monitoring is going to perform better. Period. I hope that answered your question about monitor. Poncho, question. When using Stage Connect from Wing to the 4800 series, so the Stage Connect stuff, the 4888 is the 8 in, 8 out, the 16 series is basically the 8 in, the 8 out, and also the DN4816U, which is the USB box that convert USB Ultranet to Stage Connect. Really useful. Actually, I have one that I have to go pick up for tomorrow. I wanted to have one just to work with XR18 and do backtrack, because now I can run a single XLR to do backing track. I can put that next to a laptop USB in the DN4816U and grab that for front of house. The 4800 series has Ultranet in and out. Does it send Ultranet over Stage Connects? Or does it have to go into the Ultranet in? Oh, really good question. I don't know about this one. I think Rob answered something about that. Okay, so the 48800 has a P16 out, basically. So the Ultranet is there for you to use the 16 output. Interesting. So if you guys have Ultranet enabled box like the Turbo Sound, you can convert Stage Connect to those speaker, because it has an alternate output. Interesting. Suggestion here from Cody. You should do mix review. I don't know, man. I would love you to review some smaller church, club, and things, so that people don't have to have thousands of dollars worth on gear and learn how you do. Okay, the thing is, Cody, where my approach to that have always been a big no-no is, or the reason why it's always been a big no-no for me, is because I cannot be in your room. Not for now. Maybe if I ever sell my house, move in an RV, and I travel across the country, especially in the States during the summer or during the winter. Maybe if I can sit in the room, I can justify what I'm hearing, because sometimes hearing a bad stream doesn't mean that in the room it doesn't sound good. Actually, it's probably the other way around. And I'm guilty of that myself, to make really good sounding in the room mix. But when you listen to the stereo out, which actually last Saturday I recorded my show, and I was listening to it quickly, and the balance is never right on the output of the console. Not because what I was doing was garbage. It's because I took my EQ decision based around the PA. I took my mix decision based around the PA and the position that I was in the room according to that PA. I tried to, average that. I tried to walk around and average that as much as possible. But once the room is filled in, I tried to mix the best I could. And if you're not in the room, you cannot take a good decision about that, because you basically base your perception on the wrong information. This is why I think it would not make sense, because I could tell you for days that your bass drum doesn't sound right, but I don't know how your subs are balanced in that room and if it will make sense or not. Um, I just don't know how to approach that, basically, Cody, to be to answer your question. Okay, Anger77. I'm booking a gig for the upcoming weekend with a blues band. Oh yeah, the blues band. Are there any common effect like reverb, just rough for this kind of music? Any tips on this? My first tips would be go listen to the classic blues album. Like, go listen to the classic live album. There's a lot of live blues stuff. You know, from the top of my head, I would say Stevie Ray Vaughan. To answer your question about what my perception of blues is, it's a lot of raw player. It's a lot of, reverb. Don't do delay much. It's not the kind, it's the total opposite of having autotune on everything and delay in, that kind of effect. The blues is more raw, so try to keep, a couple of reverb on hand, maybe a long reverb, a short reverb, and that's about it. The only thing that you can maybe go wild a little bit on is if you have a harmonica player. If you have somebody that's doing that, maybe you can try to use a guitar amp on that microphone. Most of the time the guy, if the guy doesn't bring a amplifier, a small guitar amp with a microphone, they've been doing that for years in the harmonica player. If you have an harmonica player, maybe try a little bit of overdrive and reverb and maybe slight delay on that. But other than that, let the player do their thing. Give them a room, give them a feel. Add a little bit of reverb on the drums, a little bit of reverb on the vocal. But it's blues is kind of dry. It's not like if you were doing 90s pop, what everything had, think about the 90s pop to me or the 90s dance, which I was really big when I was 6 years old into. Everything was reverb and delay on vocal all the time, and chorus on vocal all the time, all those weirdo effects. You want to go the other side. You want to go dry, not too compressed. You want to let the player breathe. You don't want to compress the bass so it sounds the same. You don't want to have that big block of bass happening. You want to keep the player uncompressed just a tiny bit and give some reverb. That will be my approach to that. After that, I always try to respect the musician. If a band show up and they have a sound, I don't try to change their sound. Actually, the same thing that I did on Saturday. I had really, really good player here. A lot of the TV guys that do the TV show here. The band leader is one of the guitar player that's been doing one of our biggest show with a band. He's been doing this for 18 years. He's a studio guy. He's a freak of guitar tone. So the first thing that I did when I stepped behind the console was make sure that I had no EQ, no nothing on his tone in the beginning. Me and him spoke a little bit about the result that he wants to have. He's sending me a pre-build or I don't know how to say that, pre-EQ, pre-everything stuff on this side. He has an aux box for his guitar amp, and he's giving me the left right of that. So everything should sound the way that he wants to sound in the room. So what I did is I EQ'd the system a little bit. I EQ'd the PA a little bit to make sure that the PA was as, flat as it could be. And I started from there. Nothing on the guitar. Nothing. No EQ, no low cut, no compressor, no. I set my gain to around minus 18, raised the fader, and I was like, sounds really good. I'm gonna keep it that way. That guy know what he's doing. Did the same thing for the keyboard. The bass player, I EQ'd and compressed a little bit because everything was dry. He sent me a full dry signal, so it was, those big bucks, the red D-High. that has a tone, that has an EQ curve into it, so it's supposed to sound like an old Ampeg amp. So I was like, okay, let's start with that, and I try to make it fit where I thought it should fit in that mix, and that's it. I don't over EQ everything, and I try to mix, doing fader move more than spending hours and hours and hours on like fine EQ everything. I don't do that. The tone sounds good. I'm gonna mix, I'm gonna blend, and sometimes having a good blend makes it so you don't have to EQ. Choice of microphone placement, and mixing saves you a lot of fine EQing for nothing. I hope that answered your question. Edwin, gig number 3 this past week went great. Good, always good to hear about that. First time doing sub on bus with the wing. I like the Pulsar EQ for dialing the low end. Definitely knocking. Yeah, had Psycho bass on it, but took it off. If I remember correctly, the Pultec EQ, which is basically the real version of the Pulsar. The Pultec EQ is a boost at around 30, 60, or 90 hertz. So if you put that to 30 and crank it up, yes, of course, your sub is going to rumble like there's an earthquake, and it's always good to do that live. So if you had a good time with that, great. You can also try to put if you don't have external subs, you can also try to put a Pulsar on your main. I saw a lot of guys doing this. If it's working, take some time, experiment with stuff, and if you like that boost at 30 hertz, it just makes everything sounds fat. Go ahead and do it, man. Really like the tape emulation on Guitar Bus. Playing with the speed to dial top end. Okay, I never tried that, but definitely to add some grit. Really nice. Patrick, the less compression, the better. Yes, compression kill equality, integrity of the sound. You may need some, but it's really as little as possible. Sound quality in the dynamic. Yes, depending on the genre that you're doing. If you're doing a jazz band, compression is a big no-no. If you're doing pop, if you're doing rock band, compression, no problem. Actually, with rock band, I annihilate bass with compression. Most of the time, in pop rock band, what I do, the two places that I try to compress a lot is bass guitar. I usually run 1 or 2 compressor in series on that. I'm having Saturday I was on an X32. I have the channel compressor dial in, so it's just grabbing a little bit, maybe a couple dB really fast, fast attack, fast release, just to even that out. And after that, I just send everything into an 1176, and that one I, gain reduction to 20 dB sometimes. And I have a big block of bass. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do the same thing on vocal. I know a lot of people are freaking out right now, but hold on, hear me out. When I'm doing front of house and I'm doing monitor at the same times, I always make sure that my compression is not going in the monitor. Just saying. There's a thinking behind it. I want the artist to sound uncompressed in their monitor so they can take, they can try to blend as good as they can together on stage. And me at front of house, I try to understand what's happening on stage, and I try to replicate that. But sometimes in room, let's say when you're doing arena or doing big room, you cannot have that much dynamic. The if you have too much dynamic, it will not represent well in the room. Like on records. Most of the time, records don't sound good where they're not compressed. Everything that you hear on the radio or turn on Spotify, everything as compression, not in the sense of converting to lower bit range or lower bit rate processing, but in the term of dynamic, in the term of volume compression. And especially for vocal, I like my vocal to sit in the sweet spot and I don't want them to move. And for real, Saturday, I didn't compress the bass that much, but for a real Saturday, what I did for the kind of show that we were doing, it was an Elvis tribute, mostly Elvis song together. And my goal was to mix in the 60s kind of vibe, having, you know, a little bit of reverb, a little bit of spring reverb. We had a physical spring reverb unit. So I was blending a long reverb, a plate, a hall, and the spring reverb all together, and I was mixing with the vocal really high above the music, like they were doing on vinyl, you know, the first vinyl in the 60s. So my approach to that was to have the vocal sit right there and all the back vocal being at the same volume. Like it was getting really loud when all the 5 vocal were on, and I was having the music, you know, one notch down versus a typical or a modern rock band. But when you have the vocal that high, you don't want them to go any higher. What I did is I used the channel strip. I was compressing about 3 to 6 dB on that, not too fast. Attack 15 millisecond release between 150 to 150, and after that I was annihilating everything into 1176. Attack, I believe attack and release were 3 and 7, so not too fast of an attack, but really fast release, and I was compressing about anywhere from 0 to 20 dB on the long note, but it kept my vocal really in that center range where it was floating there and it was not moving, and that's what I wanted. I achieved that. So compression was not in the monitor on stage, but for the house, like when you listen to a CD, you don't have much dynamic. Again, it also depends on the project that you're doing. If you are doing, you know, jazz band, it's the other way around, but those guys blend themselves. They play around with volume, and you will see they are really consistent in their volume. Those players are trained to do that, so you don't have to correct them. They know what they're doing. But sometimes, you know, in pop, when you're doing pop artists, no, you need to compress the living hell out of those vocals, because the artist is going to move around, is going to have the microphone, you know, pointing every single way, and you don't want to have a difference in volume. So that's about it. That's the approach to compression. Use it where you need it. Rob, where would you put the tap point for wedge or in-ear monitor stand? If I'm mixing front of house and I need to do monitor from front of house, everything will be post EQ. If the EQ doesn't work on the wing, I would go post low cut and use the 3 EQ band, because, you know, most of you guys know that in the wing we have a special EQ just for monitor. If we have that going, I will use the triple EQ. You know, sometimes when you have really, really bad room and you need to sacrifice, like, the channel to correct for the PA because you're running out of EQ on the PA, nothing can do. You have to make it sound good. So anyway, all that to say that if time to like the press the like button. Come on, I cannot speak today. Press the damn like button like Patrick recommends you. Guys, please. Losing my mind here. Kidding. So yeah, for the tap point, I would go, I believe in the wing is tap point number 4, which is pre-EQ. but post EQ, pre-compressor. Between the EQ and the compressor, this is where I would set my my mind at. Oh, that's no. Hold on. I see the little hearts in the bottom. That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. You need to press the like button on the video. And right now I'm looking at the chat. I have no idea what it is on that page. But yep, it's if you guys looking at me, it's gonna be somewhere around here in the bottom, right? Because I tried. Thank you, Chris. Hey, good to see you, man. It's been a while. All right, moving on. Oliver, hey folks, any idea if the Wing will recognize an internal Dente card in any future firmware revision? Greeting from Germany. What? Hold on, let me ask you, what are you talking about, Oliver? Because the Wing do recognize a Dente card with the current and future firmware. There's a big thing happening right now with the Dente card, and I probably need to do another video if I didn't do enough about that. When you upgrade to firmware 3.0, or it could be 2, the last version of 2, it could be wrong, but nowadays, we're on 3.4 right now. Nowadays, when you install a card, you need to register it in the console. I don't remember the full process, but please, take a moment, go Google that, install internal card in the Wing. You need to register. I believe you need to press, it's two knobs, it's the ohm and another button around the screen that you need to press. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's the option button, the one next to the rotary encoder on the right. I think you need to hold that down. You need to enable the card to be recognized by the console. Then you reboot, then your Dente card is there. If you don't have the right firmware on it, on that Dente Brooklyn card, you need to make sure that you have the right firmware on it. So if, like me, you want to migrate a card from somewhere else, from, let's say I have a card from a Yamaha TF that I want to inject into my next upcoming Wing, I had to use the Yamaha TF console to change the firmware on that card. What I did is I dropped my card that I bought on eBay, drop it into my console, change the firmware for the Wing firmware, and now I had to wait, and the firmware went, the firmware process went, says complete, and now I can take it off of my optional card from Yamaha and drop it inside my internal of the upcoming Wing that I have, the compact or whatever's gonna arrive first, the rack or the compact. So you need to register that card once you drop it in your new console. Mixing Lane, thank you very much for copy paste that. Start the console with the utility press. So okay, so it was not the unnamed button, it was the utility. Start a console with the utility down. After that, press setup general, and then select the option field next to the console. Type Dente mode, press apply. Dente mode for deregister. Okay, Dente none. Okay, you can register and deregister for that. Okay. And restart, and your Dente card should be there. But yeah, I should definitely do a video about that as soon as I'm gonna get my compact. Probably it's probably the one that's gonna show up first, the compact. As soon as I can get my compact, we'll see that. Any news on the Wave card? Yes, they are available. You just need to order them with your new console, or they need to be installed by a professional technician from a repair center or from a distributor, basically. So, but they are available. It's like a secret right now, but yeah. They are available. I saw a couple posts of people using the Wave stuff. And after that, I saw a couple posts of people complaining that they cannot use it the way that they want to, even though if they have the Wave stuff now. But, you know, that's what it is. Hold on, Headwind. I'm doing front of us monitor on the same rack, which is fine. I do tap 3 for vocal after the PSC, LA2A. Yeah, really cool way to do that, Edwin. So that way you compress if you want to, but not too much. They only both do very little. That's right, man. That's you're there. Use the 3-point EQ for the band for dial that in. All right. Yeah, the bad thing about the wing is you can't have multiple tap points. Yes, definitely something that I would like to have. You know, back on the X32 days, because we had less option in the routing menu. I think they allow us to have different tap point. Where on the wing you only have 2. You basically have the tap point, the global tap point, or post fader, or just direct out send. So that will work. Those 3 options would work for every channel. But yes, definitely something that can be improved if it can be done. I don't even know if this can be done or not. Figure out a way to use the MR18, MR16 with the DP. Hold on, Dance a Dream. You're gonna need to tell me a little more about that. Oliver, thank you. All right, I hope that answered your question, man. If I send it to get install, I'll be gone for ages, I'm assuming. I don't know, to be honest, Chris. Probably not. Or I think it's a 5 minutes install. We all know that. So you can probably contact your distribution center for that and give them a call and ask if you can just show up on time to get your card installed. It's literally a 15-minute process where you take the panel off, you drop your card in, you take the panel back, you do the process that Mixing Lane just posted on top here, and should be good. All right, Dance a Dream. Hey, what's up, man? Did I say hi? I want to make sure that I say hi. Apparently, you're saying that if you take a DN4816U into a Hub 4 Stage Connect loop, back RJ45 cable in the ASA port of the Hub 4, start Hub 4 in standalone mode for the clock, it works. Okay. Interesting. I can also do this with the MR18 or XR18 as stage box for butt wing and M32. Yes. I actually have an event on Saturday where I'm going to need to do that. And I have a couple actually event where I know I'm going to need to do that. So we'll see what's going on with this. I need to take basically an XR18 as a stage box from my wing. And with the DN16U that I'm going to get tomorrow or Wednesday, I'll be able to use that. I'm going to be able to use my wing with the P16, not the P16, with the XR18 as a stage box. So it goes MR18 Ultranet out to the DN16, the DN4816U Ultranet in. Stage connect from the 4816U to stage up. But can you, I mean, if I wanted to go for a wing, well, yeah, because you want to go to DP48. But if I want to go into the wing, I can just use the stage connect. That will work, right? Took a while to find out. Sorry, I have to register to then take care. Oh, thank you, Patrick. But Mixing Lane got that half an hour ago. Chris, about the wave card. Oh, I was hoping to do it myself, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. Maybe you can ask if you can buy the card. Maybe they will. Some people will sell them. I don't know what's the deal with that. Maybe I should get in touch with Behringer and ask if I could do that locally for the peeps around Quebec, or if some people want to ship me their console. I probably have the time during the winter to do a little bit of that stuff, because it's literally a 10-minute process. So I don't know, I can try to see if I can open myself up to get those wave card or Dente card and do the mods myself. I don't know. Maybe I can try to help with you guys. If you know anybody that can do that and can work that out with me, let me know. Do you do line level or mic level out of the Shure wireless mic? To be honest, most of the time I'm working line level. I have really good singer, and running line level allow me to don't have to use the gain at all. I just go line level, keep the gain at 0 dB, 0 amplification on the gain. Give me usually enough volume to work. I'm using that a lot on the SLX. Actually, the SLX is not a line out level, it's mic only. But I'm owning a couple of ULXD. My ULXD, if I don't run them Dente, I use the output in the back. I use the XLR in line level. Absolutely no problem. If I have singer that have really high output, sometimes it's too hot and I need to use the mic level and set the gain, you know, at maybe 10, 15 to get to basically, the difference between mic and line level will be, I believe, 21 dB. So it's the same thing as having a pad of 21 dB and you bring that up a little bit. Yeah. A little bit like Chris or ULXD, we use line level and plus 3 dB internal. Yes. The fun thing with the ULXD, I don't know which one you have. I have the quad version. You have all the display, and I try to always do the gain staging on them correctly, meaning I try to get my singer to go in the yellow, just a little bit of the yellow. So it's turning on the mic gain to my advantage, where I know how I'm gonna get it in a console. So the line level is gonna go into my preamp. I go +3. Sometimes, you know, when I'm doing conference, I go up to 18 +18 on the preamp. But it's just fine. It's working really good, to be honest. I'm using the gain inside the ULXD. I do that a lot when I'm doing Dente, because most of the time I'm going to use my ULXD with a TF1 from Yamaha. So Dente in there, and you don't have much range in the Yamaha. I believe it's only +10 dB. Sometimes it's not enough if I set it to 0. So I crank the gain on my ULXD to +18, +21 if I need to. And I have decent volume to work with my TF1. And I don't need to crank the digital gain on the TF1 either. Most countries allow to service a device if you have the proper knowledge and therefore won't affect the warranty. Yes, but sometimes, you know, I don't know for all the countries. I know in Canada, if you open it up yourself, sometimes some company will not honor the warranty from that. So I don't know. I don't know what's the deal for every single country. But here, I think it's the manufacturer that will allow you to do that or not. But to be honest, if you are really careful, if you are a person that is really, really careful, and you open up your console and take time to not strip all the screws, nobody will know that you've been in there, to be honest. So if you have a problem, if you install a card yourself, you're having a problem, just take your time, undo your little screws, don't scratch too much stuff around them, bring your card out, close their console back again, and nobody should know that you were in there. As far as I know, there is no warranty void sticker on the compact or the rack or the full-size wing. As far as I know, I could be wrong. Be careful when you open up your console. If you don't want to void your warranty, contact your local tech. But yeah, sometimes. I'm using the SLXD mic line level now into the DP, the 4888. Into stage connected to the wing, works great. Okay, I don't think the SLXD can be line level. Can it be? I think it was only mic level. Could be wrong. Is the difference between the S32 and the DL251 dramatic in terms of sound quality, or is it small margin? I believe okay. The S series, the Behringer series versus the DL251, you will notice a big difference in the term of conversion. It will sound less noisy. They have less background noise. Is it going to be night and day? No, but I think you will notice a difference. Give it a try before buying a $7,000 48 input preamp, but definitely you're going to hear a difference. I heard a difference. It's the converter on them are a different breed. It's theoretically the same preamp. It's not the same component. It's the same, when you look at the circuit board, it's the exact same design, but it's not the same component. It's not the same kind of conversion from one preamp to another. But it's not a lie when Behringer say that they are Midas design preamp. It's exactly the same, I believe. When you look at the circuit board, exactly the same, but it's just a component on them that change. There's a big difference when it comes to sound. There's a big difference between a electronic component that costs 10 for a cent versus one that costs 10 cents. It's probably going to sound better with the one that costs 10 cents each, but there's multiply that by the amount of component on the board. This is why one is costing $2,000 and the other one's $7,000. Tobias, hi from Germany. Hello from Montreal, Canada. Jesse Aurelia currently use a wing with an S32, trying to upgrade to a DL251 or DL32. Heard some things about the 251, just haven't heard it yet. You don't have to go full DL251. If you go DL32, you will notice a difference. But if you have the budget and you plan on upgrading on, Midas stuff at some point in the future, bite the bullet once and go for the 251. You won't regret it. Actually, I don't own any other. I don't own any Behringer preamp. I only own Midas Blue pre. I have now. I got one more. One of the viewer here of the channel, which is a local guy to me, just sold me a DL 151, the 24 input from Midas. I have an extra 24 input now, so I have my pair of DL 231, I have my DL 251, and I have a 151, which is just a 24 input. But the 24 input is probably gonna live with my rack. So I will have my rack with 48 input, 8 out. I'm probably going to have another 16 output made out of the Stage Connect stuff. And that's going to be it. That's going to be my full-on rack for smaller gig. And my DL231s, of course, live on a tour. They're gone. I don't think about that. And I have my 251 that I'm going to carry around probably for my shows, because this having 4816 is a great option. So when I don't want to do separate monitor rig, it's going to be the 251. When I want to do separate monitor, front of us and monitor, is going to be the rack with the extra 24 preamp and the 16 output more. You guys get the idea. But I think it's worth it. This is why I spend that much money on all those preamps. If you're on a budget, you can get the DL32. It won't be bad. I mean, it's gonna be fine with the DL32. If you prefer to have two DL32, or if you want to go the full 48 by 24, you can go a DL32 and a DL16. Daisy chain that, one cable. It's gonna be a little bigger than the DL251 for probably less money. It's gonna buy you the case, basically. I'm using the Hub 4 Pro now to feed all my wireless stuff. Okay. In here too, I'm sure the audio specs are good, but they're There publishes the manual for the UB 4 Pro. At least 16 of AES 50 streams can fed those analog out. Okay, hold on, man. You totally lost me there. What's going on? Sure it can. Sure it can. Mixing lane. I'm using the UB 4 Pro 2 for that. As far as I know, it's the line level out. Okay. Looks like the Wing has a considerable better D to A conversion spec than the M32 X32. I don't know about that. I didn't read the spec. Edwin, should I be sending FOH out to the Wing instead of the DL32? Give it a try. I don't know if it's gonna make a big difference, to be honest, because it's the mix down is happening inside the Wing. The conversion from analog to digital won't be the biggest factor here, I believe. Maybe it's gonna sound better. I don't know, but give that a try. If you have the option, give it a try. I'll just close my eye and get the 251. Sure, do it, Jesse. Okay, hear me out. In the long run, if the predictions are true and the Midas M32 are eventually going to go to 96K, I wouldn't hold my breath, but apparently at some point, if the rumors are true, a future update should enable them to go at 96K. If that happened, you probably gonna be good with your DL251 because you will be able to clock that at 96K. And if you have a setup that's changed from time to time, if you have, like me, I have a 251 that is separate and I can bring on gigs. If you can get a 251 and sometimes use it with an M32 that is gonna run at 96K, you'll see the advantage. You'll see why you pay more for that. If you have a permanent setup that's never gonna move and you need the input, yeah, just go M30. Just go with the black Midas, and you'll be good to go. The UB4 S16 analog out. Oh, the UB4 S16 analog out. Okay, you just set out. Oh man, you just saved me a bunch of money there. Awesome. Okay, I didn't know about that. Thank you very much. You just saved me a couple $100. The Wing digital to analog conversion has a range of 120 dB versus the DL32 and M32 114 dynamic range spec from the manual. Okay. Is it really going to be that big of a deal? Seriously. If you are in the same environment and you have the option, I would say go. But if not, it's not going to change much. 6 dB is yeah, I know 6 dB is a lot, but it's not going to change night and day your mix. I don't believe. But I believe, yes, 6 dB is a lot. Well, 6 dB is, yeah. But it's not going to, if your mix doesn't sound good, it's not going to be the answer to why your mix doesn't sound good. Just saying. If you have the option, if you can do both, okay, sure, go with the Wing. But it's not going to be that you're not going to have a bad day because you're using M32 outputs. There you go. Stop arguing with me if you agree with me. Tell the truth. Come on. Running out of coffee here. What time is it? Around 2:30? Alright. You guys want to keep going? I'm having a good feeling today. You guys want to keep going or not? What should we talk about? We're having a great time so far, to be honest. Afternoon nap time. Come on, Edwin. Lucky you. Going for a nap. I just woke up. I woke up today. It's one of the first day that I have where I don't work. So I took the time to sleep in. I wake up around 11:30 and I waited a while before taking a coffee. So I just start to feel awake now. All right, let's go. New stage box. Should they be Dente now instead of AS50? That probably never gonna happen. The new stage box will remain AS50 because company keep, device in the same architecture, and Dente is optional on the wing. I don't believe there's anything wrong with AS50 to the point where it should be changed for Dente. Of course, Dente is a great option to have. I love working with Dente, but I don't think, the reason is, I don't think Midas want to have their preamp being used by other manufacturer, and I believe this is true for most manufacturer. They want to keep their little environment close and also under control for the dev. So it would be fun to have Dente and Dente control over stage box. Let's say have a DL251-D with Dente, but I don't think this will happen. And actually, if you really want to do that, you can just get, any way of convert that to Dente. I'm really curious to see the Hub 4 Pro as soon as they get released, if we have option for a Dente card in there, because some of the picture that leaked it said that maybe it's gonna have Dente. We'll see what's going on with that, but yeah. Dan, any word on Long McQuaid's stock with the wing rack? I heard, and I've talked about this is why I bit the bullet and overpay for my compact. I heard that Long McQuaid's gonna have those around March or April 2025. So I have enough show, hear me out, I have enough show where I'm gonna rent a console to justify the price difference of overpaying my wing, come back from the States, ship them, pay for shipping, and I pay atrocious amount of money for the shipping. And that's where we are now. So I have a wing rack on order from Long McQuaid. When it's gonna show up, I don't know, but as long as I have my compact, my DL251, and maybe a Hub Pro 4, I'll be good for that. And I have also a DL8 coming, by the way. Yeah, I've lied. I have a DL8 coming that I'm probably going to keep with my, to do small shows. Probably just going to have that. Tobias, I have two DL32, one for the FRH and one for the in-ear rack. They sound great with the wing. Yes, they sound really good. Nothing wrong about the DL32. I don't know if I should keep the full-size wing or sell it. Now I have the compact and I also have an M32R. Well, sell the M32R. Pancho, the wig up 4 and wig up 4 Pro seems to be the same price. I don't know. Well, if they could, if they are the same price, get the Pro one, because you'll have option to convert from 96K if you ever come across Pro Series. The 8 Pro had the card. Okay, so that's not coming. That's not coming soon. Next discussion: how to build a wing core ourselves. Well, that's probably never gonna happen. Mixing lane. I'm not gonna build one myself. Trust me. Robert's thoughts on the Stage Connect line level sound quality versus the mic pre. Interesting. Chris, there's many used gray full size wing on the market. To get a good price is going to be challenging. Yes, I know. This is why, actually, I tried to sell my full size wing a couple months ago, and it was not selling. People were giving me pennies for it. So to me, it's not worth for me to have it. Shares plug. What's up, man, Sheriff? Good to see you. Yeah, man, definitely sell the M32R. Have you tried the DM7 or the Adventus D Live? I've tried the D Live. I've mixed a couple in-ear shows as a monitor guy on D Live. It's fine. The UI to me is really, really dumbed down. But yeah, it's fine. The Adventus, I only heard people mixing with them, and they seem to have good result. Totally cool with that. The DM7, I didn't try it. I saw one, but I didn't try it, and I didn't heard anybody mixing through it. It was just used as a routing mixer. You know, I show up on the other day on a festival, and somebody, you know, this is what the guy was using for processing and getting console from everybody into the sound system. So I didn't really hear the DM7, but it's apparently good. It's a good Yamaha console. It's the update of the CL-QL. Probably nothing wrong with that console, and Yamaha is known to be rock solid and their firmware to be rock solid, so I probably don't have much to say about them other than usually I don't like LN8, especially the SQ stuff is not, it's not compatible with me, and I'm the problem, it's me. So yeah. X32 racks as a stage box to wing rack works great too. Yeah. Everything that is AES-50 is compatible. The Tyler Tips and Tune channel. What's up, man? What is a wing hub 4 and a hub 4.8? The hub 4 is a conversion unit. Go check out that out from the website. I don't have all the specs, but basically, it's a 1U rack that has, as I was just reminded, analog in and out, and it's basically on the hub 4 Pro. It's a conversion unit that can use a input of AES-50 that is clocked at 96K, and it's going to convert it to all those other protocols. So it's going to convert from 96K to 46, and it will allow you to also integrate other standard like Ultranet and Stage Connect with those things, plus a couple analog in and out. So yeah, definitely a cool machine there to have in your rack. If you deal with other console, if you deal with, you know, Pro Series and you want to convert your stuff to DP48, or you want to convert your stuff to a wing, to a X32, it will basically enable you to connect all those devices together. This is why it's called a hub 4, and eventually the hub 8, but no news about that for now. Edwin, why wouldn't they make a core? Makes sense. They made a core for the MX32. Yes, but I don't know, man. Get the rack. No? Saw my M32C for $900 a week before the wing came out. Yeah. I did sell. I used to have a core until a few months ago, and I sold it in the right time too. Chris, I will use the big boy as much as possible. We'll come back at cram space. Yes. Okay, the chat is going too fast, guys. I cannot have time to read all your stuff that you're saying. Sheriff, I heard that the DM7 has a laggy screen. The M7 probably has a laggy screen, but it's probably what they do so they avoid the console to crash. What about the Yamaha Rivage, the R7? Is it the Rivage 7 or the PM7 Rivage from Yamaha? I saw one, but I never mixed on those. I didn't have the pleasure. I think the only time that I could have mixed on one, I just show up with my console and I connect into it. I didn't have time to learn it. But it's definitely going to sound good. It's the IN that's worth, you know, the price of a house. Basically a system like that, and you can also use real Neve, AMS Neve preamp to go with that, so definitely killer system. It's, I mean, at the price you pay, yeah, I hope it sounds good. Rob, I sold my X32 Big Boy a month ago, and now I have a compact as a backup constellation of my Big Boy. Yeah. A lot of people, actually, right now the used market is flooded with X32 rack here, and X32 in general. Tobias, do you have any problem with the new firmware on the full-size wing or compact? No, as far as I know, 3.0.4 is really good. Sheriff, is the wing rental friendly? Not at the moment, to be honest. It's probably gonna win a lot of point real soon. Really soon. Because everybody's jumping on the rack wagon, so people are gonna slowly start to learn it. I think it will eventually replace the X32s of this world or the M32s of this world, but you'll need to give it some time. But I think the compact, people will see more and more compact, and people will start to travel with compact, and you know, one band traveling with another band is gonna say, hey man, check that out, that console, and the next time that engineer is gonna show up on a gig where he is asked to work with a compact, we'll probably say yes. So eventually it's gonna become rider friendly, but for now, people still want X32. I don't believe that. Rob, I'll keep my X32 rack. I have Dente, Medi, basically you have all the conversion card for it. Yeah, just keep it. Yeah, Chris, I believe it's a matter of yet. I don't think people are yet on the wing wagon. Eventually, it's gonna get there. Patrick, I can only recommend to upgrade to 3.0.4. Yes, it's a great firmware. No bug as far as I'm aware. The rack will probably become the next monitor rig. I think, yes. No, it's everybody that used to have an X32 rack for their in-ear is gonna run the wing rack from now on. I recommend people to get their hands on the wing rack for building, you know, DIY or self in-ear mixes for bands. You basically have everything you need in there. If you need more than the 8 output, you just add at the end 4816 O for the output, and you're going to be golden. And eventually some people probably going to come up with Dente enable in-ear. Well, actually Dente enable in-ear is a thing now with Sennheiser in their IRN series. I don't think you will run that into a self-contained monitor rig, but eventually, yeah, that's gonna be it. Hold on to your X32 stuff. If Trump put the China tariff on, they will be worth more. Oh, man. Neighbor from the south. I'm looking at the neighbor from the south. Good luck, guys. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want this channel to be too political, but I'm going to say, from what I've seen, good luck. Nobody's happy in the political debate. I was watching it and I was like, I don't know, whoever's going to win, half of the people are not going to be happy. And it was close to be like 45. I think the final vote on the US election was like, the global was like 45 to 55. So basically half of the people are not happy with who win. Well, 45% of the people are not happy of who win and how things are turning out. So good luck with your dumpster fire, guys. You guys set yourself into that. Let's talk about cool stuff like the Shure Accent now has digital Dente input. Yes, the new Accent in-ear has the Dente stuff, and it's just going to be awesome to have that amount of in and out on your on your stuff. So yeah, I don't want to. I want to move on into the audio stuff. I don't care about the political stuff here. I'm Canadian. I don't have any opinion on your guys' politics. I don't live there. Maybe yet. We'll see. Maybe in the future, if I move to the States. Who knows? I just got my wing rack yesterday, and I gotta say it's a solid build. Very impressive, man. Smooth operation, better than expected. The next big thing is here. Yes, I believe the compact is gonna. I believe the compact is gonna go in the market where it's gonna. If you're not mixing on console that is 10 times the price of that, like the Rivage and maybe the bigger Digico stuff, you're probably gonna end up with wing everywhere. And I would say, great, I've called the shot 5 years ago. That is going to replace all your cheap, affordable console. It has the option that no other console at this price point have. So, we'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, I believe it will win the market. I hope so. I have a few and they're up for rent. So, I hope people are going to want them. We've had the Accent Digital stuff to check them out. I couldn't believe that actually sound better than the ULX. Well, the Accent in-ear is something big. But yeah, the microphone too, the Accent microphone are the top of the line. Yes, they are as good as a wired 5058. Debatable at that point, but yeah, it sound. There's nothing wrong with the ULXD, but the Accent stuff is just crazy. And it's not just the sound at that point; it's all the built-in feature. The Accent is a double-channel system, where you always transmitting on 2 frequencies, even if the receiver doesn't really tell you. You always broadcasting a microphone on 2 frequency, and it's always switching if you have any problem. So it's never dropping. The microphone has never any interference, because if you have a problem, it's going to take one frequency, it's going to switch to the other, it's going to scan a new frequency, it's going to find an empty one, and it's going to switch back. So you always are on clean signal. And also because it's digital, you know, the width in the air of that frequency is way smaller, so you can fit way many. You can fit way more wireless system in the same range that you used to do before. So. Yeah. The PreSonus Studio Live 64. I don't know much about the PreSonus stuff. To me, they always seem, you know, not up to part, but I could be wrong. The last time that I checked the PreSonus stuff was way before the newer release. It was the first version of the Studio Live 24, I believe. The one where, you know, whatever you switch. Basically, all the LEDs were switching from left to right or up to down to tell you if you have, you know, your gain, if you are in a compression or not. And it was not that user friendly, especially because the X32 just came out a while after that. I mean, it's probably working fine, but I've never been drawn to the PreSonus stuff. To me, it doesn't have the flexibility that I like about, let's say, the Wing. My understanding of it. Photonator Audio did my first show with the rack. Sound as good as the full size? Yes, of course. It's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. No difference here. It's not a cut down version. It actually has more feature, like the headphone amp and everything. Sure, for sample one-to-one mixing, you could go with either. But if you need more processing and external connectivity, then the Wing is the shit. Yeah. But Mixing Station has a lot to implement. I don't know about Mixing Station. I've only used Copilot for the Wing because nowadays I try to avoid as much as possible to mix with an iPad. I just don't like mixing on an iPad. I actually never did, but I was forced to. a few years ago, and nowadays I try to put my feet on the ground and say, you know what, we're gonna have a console in front of us, even if it's ugly, even if it's a wedding, and even if nobody wants to see it. Well, I need a console. Will come the 4888. No, the 88. Actually, the way to understand the DN48 series is DN48 is the Stage Connect stuff. 88 is for 8 in, 8 out. The 16 is for 16 of the same. So 16I is for input, 16O for output, and 16U for the USB box. This is how the code is divided. So the 4888 is 8 in, 8 out, and it's converting from analog to Stage Connect. Yeah, the DAW control on the big boy is definitely stellar, Rob. I definitely agree with you on that. Wing metering. The little channel meters show the preamp level, right? The big meter can be set to even pre or post. So, am I right? Hello from Germany. Actually, on the metering, on the channel strip, the channels show the output of that channel, I believe. If you click on the channel itself and you go on the screen, at the beginning, the first on top left will show you the preamp level. I believe the channel strip will show you the overall output, which is two different kind of measurement. Because let's say that you have your preamp modulating at a steady minus 18. If you EQ, you can remove or add volume or add VU meter to that. So it's two different kind of reference. Because you can have a totally fine preamp, but if you compress, add output volume, and add EQ and boost and cut stuff, you can definitely get into digital clipping that way. If you do something stupid as cranking out the output gain by 20 dB. So yeah. So it's two different kind of level meter. It can be set pre or post, but yes. Front panel locks itself. I need a few 3D print. I don't know much about that. What are you talking about? The front panel locks itself? I'm not sure. I'm not following here, Pixelator. What console are we talking about here? Because I'm not sure to understand. All right. You guys want to keep going? It's been probably a while. We've been on for an hour and a half. That's okay. That's gotta be it. I'm gonna go do some email and have a lunch. Started getting hungry here, so I'm gonna wrap it up and say, guys, thank you very much for being part of this live stream. We had a really good time for an hour and a half today. Always fun to spend my Monday afternoon with you guys. Make sure to come back next Monday for another Monday live stream where we talk about live sound, where we talk about anything else that can be interesting for us, community of live sound engineer and wing lover and other stuff. Actually, you don't have to own a wing to be here. You just have to like live sound, and we can talk about a lot of stuff here and experience that we have together. That could sound totally wrong. I'm never gonna say that again. Until the next one, guys, please take care of yourself. And I see you all later. Ciao!